Hi everyone, this is Michelle coming at you with Page of Wands Intuitive Tarot and Oracle. Trying something new tonight. This is actually something I had an idea for a while back and I thought it was too funny and tongue-in-cheek to not explore. So this is my very first wine and spirits TV reading. So what I want to do, so first of all, it's June 25th. Yesterday was the 24th, which was a new moon in Cancer. And this is the new moon after the May new moon, which brought about this like huge transformative shift in energy, which I think a lot of people probably felt. But it's raining outside right now. It's a little bit after 8 o'clock in the evening here. And I just thought this was a perfect opportunity because I also opened this bottle of wine, which I actually got for a really good deal. This is the Griffon Sangiovese. I'm a little bit of a wine freak. I'm not super knowledgeable, but I worked at a wine bar for a while and I studied a little bit, got my intro to sommelier certification under the Master Guild of Sommeliers, and I just really enjoy partaking in wine. Like, who doesn't, right? But I thought this would be especially fun because of the descriptor on the back of this bottle, which I'm going to read to you. This is from Puglia, Italy. This is a 2015 Sangiovese. And it says, and I quote, "This wine is inspired by the ancient history of our people and is a tribute to Juno, wife of Jupiter and queen of the gods of ancient Rome, the protector of welfare of women, overseeing all aspects of marriage, fertility, and childbirth." Sangiovese, literally blood of Jupiter. We'll have to look that up. I'm not so sure, but that's what it says, blood of Jupiter. Italy's most popular grape is best suited to create a wine with complex character, yet sufficiently delicate to appeal to those preferring smooth and fruit-driven wines. I won't bore you with the pairing aspects, but apparently this goes really well with vegetarian and vegan food. There's the label if you want to see it. And I believe they have this at Trader Joe's for pretty cheap. So anywho, I am enjoying this wine. It is pretty fruit-driven. I must say, there's like a little bit of that old world sensibility on the nose, if you know what that is all about. It has to do with their oak aging process and the type of oak that they use in Europe, which is different than American oak because it gives it a little bit more of like an earthiness, or, you know, it could be cedar or forest floor. The flavors are a little bit more, or the scents and flavors are a little bit more just pungy and earth driven, if you will, as opposed to the vanilla and the spice that you get off of American oak. But anyway, it's really nice. It is very light. It's really easy to drink. It is pretty fruit forward. So even if you're not that adventurous with your red wine, this is a really good, it's a good option. So what I thought would be fun is if we go ahead and do a reading for this new moon, which normally is all about shedding things, right? This is like a cleansing, and it's raining outside, so it's so perfect. And starting over, beginning anew, all new moons, you know, give us that opportunity every single month to do that, as opposed to the full moon, which encourages us to bring something in, right? This is all about like that releasing, clearing out of energy, clearing out of tensions. And since this new moon is in Cancer, of course, we're going to be dealing with our emotions a lot, right? The moon is very at home in Cancer. At least that's what I read. And my moon is actually in Cancer. So I thought that this would just be a really fun way to do a collective reading. So I might start doing these live, depending if I actually get a good following and I feel like people will tune in for it. I think that might be really fun. So for this, I'm using a different deck than I've been using for my twin flame readings. I'm actually using the Tarot Apocalypsis deck. This deck is freaking amazing. It's super intense. It's powerful. There's a different sort of dogma applied to each suit. So for the swords, it's Norse mythology. For the pentacles, it's Buddhist and Hindu. For the wands, it's Egyptian. And then for the cups, it's Greek and Roman. So just a little snapshot. That's the book. Look at this. The gilded pages here. Look how thick it is. It's hardback. It's got these like insanely incredible pictures along with it. I just happened to open up to Justice here. just incredible artwork, absolutely incredible. And then this like beautiful synopsis in the beginning of each card, and then it goes into basically a history lesson of the gods and goddesses and mythology that each card is based around. So if you are into tarot at all and aficionado, you want to collect your own cards, I do not recommend this deck for beginners, just because even though the cards take on their own connotation, which I think is a wonderful thing when the artists and the writers take that liberty to really have their own creative dialogue in terms of how they interpret the art and the pictures and how they interpret the meanings. I think that's great, but it does help to have a basic knowledge and an underlying understanding of each of the card meanings, just so you have that in the back of your mind, you know, as we go through these. But I also do think it's important to keep the spirit of the deck creators alive when we read with these, and really, you know, try to follow their meaning a little bit and try to give a little bit of respect for that. Okay, so I've already shuffled these cards, and I'm going to just do a general spread for this new moon in Cancer. I think I'm going to go traditional Celtic cross here, and because I think that might just give us a really good, well-rounded reading. And of course, these aren't going to apply for everyone, but maybe we'll get a little something out of the collective energy here. And then also maybe we'll get a little bit of get a little bit of fun here when it comes to connecting to our Juno and our Jupiter wine that we're enjoying with this spread. Well, rather, I'm enjoying with this spread. So, all right. Okay, guys, so the first card that we have here in the foundational position is the Eight of Swords. I am so sorry for the glare. Can you see that? This dude is not happy. Again, we've got the Norse mythology here. See the crows there? I believe it's pronounced Hunig and Munig, something like that, but it's thought and memory. Those are Odin's two crows. And they're like untying these runes that are tied to this poor guy's little prison that he's in there with all of these swords. This is the card of mental anguish and turmoil. And I find this especially telling in this deck, not just because you have the thought and the memory crows there, you've got Odin's crows, but you've got the runes. I'm still boning up on my runes. I do have runes. I might clarify with them just for fun, especially because they came up in this first card, which is our foundation. The only one I know here is Isa, which literally translates into ice and very much of the time means stuck. So I feel like that's appropriate. So if you're somebody that's experiencing this stuck energy and this sort of mental turmoil, keep in mind too, there is a 4 on the top there. And it's backwards, but in the camera, but that to me is symbolic of the Hanged Man. That's someone that's in a position, they're trying to see a new perspective on something. And this poor gentleman here, this card speaks to curses a lot, but that has to do with Norse mythology, so we're not going to take that so literally. But this guy here, he is stuck by something that's not quite of his own volition. However, so there's an outward component to the mental, I think, stress that we see with the Eight of Swords, as opposed to the Nine of Swords, which I think has finally moved into sort of being all mental and all within the head. But in the 8, there's an outline component here, right? Somebody had to have tied him to this thing, to this little torture device he's stuck in. But the thing is, if he uses his thought and if he uses his memory, and if he just stopped resisting against those ropes so much and he stopped fighting so hard, he would find that he's not really tied that tight, and he could actually use his thought and his memory to wiggle out of his ropes. So very, very interesting card to start off with here. If any of you are feeling like you're a little bit in this stuck energy, maybe one of the main components to realize here is that it's that even though there might be an outside influence, that there's still wiggle room. There's still a way to get out of this, because what we have crossing us here is the Three of Cups. So this is a card of celebrations, bounty, weddings, parties. This is like social life in general, right? So, and here these 3 ladies are paying tribute to Dionysus, the god of wine. right? And so they're really reveling in their celebration. I think this warrants another sip, so excuse me one moment. That really is nice. So, speaking of Dionysus, I had to take a sip of wine since this is Wine and Spirits TV. So anyway, so they're really, this is really just about celebration. This card doesn't really need to be read into that much, but it could be a general idea of just a social life. So if there's any of you that are feeling a little bit trapped and a little bit stuck, and the overarching energy there has to do with your social life, or has to do with feeling like you don't really have anything to celebrate, and you're just kind of in this place, because keep in mind, this crossing card in the Celtic cross spread has to do with challenges, okay? Just in the position that it's in. So if the challenge has to do with celebrations and parties, perhaps this person or you feel like you really just don't have any reason to celebrate, or your social life, for whatever reason, is making you feel a little bit constrained. Okay? Then on the foundation of the matter, the foundational card we have here is the Hierophant. And this is a card, of course, you can see the Buddhist sort of idea here, right? The Buddhist monks here. These are the Dalai Lamas. This has to do with the reincarnation of one Dalai Lama soul into the next, into the next, into the next, down the generational line. This card speaks to traditions. This is the card of Taurus, by the way. And this card speaks to traditions. It speaks to structure. It speaks to things I look at like study, formal study. It could be anything institutional, foundations, learning. This could be marriage. This could be religion, like traditional religion. But in this deck, again, because I don't see it as being something necessarily based on one religion or the next. Of course, this would be Buddhism. But this speaks to study. It speaks to sort of a set of ideals and foundations that have been set before, right? This is something that has very deep roots, okay? Very deep roots and a lot of structure. So you've got the Eight of Swords, this sort of turmoil, and then this Three of Cups on top of it, celebrations, somehow causing some sort of conflict or some sort of stress around these celebrations. And then you've got this Hierophant on the bottom. So maybe someone's feeling like they can't really go out and celebrate because they got to study too much. Or you're being bound and you're being restricted by something really foundational that you can't seem to break out of, or you're having problems breaking out of that. And maybe you're having problems feeling a little bit carefree. Okay? And then in the recent past, we have the Ten of Cups. And the Ten of Cups is a beautiful card all about emotional fulfillment. This is all about emotional fulfillment and satisfaction, right? And love and family. And, oh, everything's so beautiful. Got our marriage and our baby. So, I'm just going to throw this out there. This reading may specifically be applying to anybody that is involved in a marriage and feeling trapped in a marriage and feeling like they don't have anything to celebrate and feeling like they're coming out of a place that was really super bountiful and beautiful, but maybe the structure just isn't serving you anymore because you're feeling stuck and you don't feel like you have joy. There's no joy. And then on top of it, we've got the Nine of Pentacles. And this is in the head. This is your ideal wishes. What you want to be happening is feeling this is the single, well-off card. This is the person that's made something of their own fortune. This is somebody that's really enjoying being single. They're enjoying having their own money. She's got all of her Nine of Pentacles there. This comes after the Seven of Pentacles, where you're toiling away and you're hoping all your hard work is going to bring in the fruits of your labor. And then the Eight of Pentacles, where you finally have this beautiful thing that you've created that you can stand back and look at and be like, look what I did. Look what my efforts did to me and did for me. And then the Nine is really enjoying that. This is when you really get to sit in the lap of your own luxury that you've created. So if that's in the head, then that's the wish. This card is for someone, this spread is for some very specific people here. And all my spreads kind of seem to be going this way, guys. So I don't know what to tell you. I just read what the cards give me. So the next card we have is the Lovers. This is in the near future. The Lovers. This is the Heroes Game Most card. This deck actually speaks to this. The uniting of an earthly being with a god or a goddess, right? The unification of the masculine and the feminine. And I look at this card as not being just a relationship. I look at this card as being something divinely sanctioned. This is either a divinely sanctioned relationship, a twin flame relationship, or this is a relationship to spirituality. Okay? And maybe I'm being called to read for people that are really looking to shake up their own lives. I mean, maybe that's what's coming through in my readings, because I really want people to think about what makes them happy. I want you to think about what makes you celebrate. What's lying underneath this feeling of being stuck. And if this has to do with traditional foundations, whatever it might be, it doesn't have to be marriage, right? This could just be following suit with something that you've thought and have been told your whole life is sort of the structure, is the way it has to go. Those are the rules. That's the way the game is played. But maybe you are feeling like, no, you know, I might have had this in my past, but I'm not feeling like that anymore. I wouldn't be in this Eight of Swords position, right? And what I want is independence. I want independence, and I want beautiful, soul expanding, off the charts, spiritual, divine love, right? And I want to be clear here too. You know, this only exists when we unite those two things within ourselves, when we get that hero's game was united in ourselves. And this is in the near future. So this is what can be waiting you if you stop fighting against those ropes that are binding you, right? So anybody that's looking to make a really foundational, fundamental change in your life, especially on the heels of this new moon, if you want to bring something in, if you want to release something, let go, and clear the way for something new and beautiful and expansive to come in, then it's here. We're talking about expansive. Jupiter is the planet of expansion. And I believe that Jupiter rules, I actually can't remember what sign. I was going to say Capricorn, but that's Saturn. But anyway, we do have Jupiter in our little wine descriptor here. So if you were thinking about expanding, this might be all about expanding the mind here and expanding what you can really have and what you can really achieve. What's really interesting, I just looked at this card. This is your advice card. This is in your advice position. This is the Two of Cups. This is a beautiful union, a beautiful relationship, something that has equal give and take, something that has a really good partnership, right? It doesn't always have to be like love in the traditional sense, but a really beautiful partnership, but it's turned upside down here. And this is in the you spot. So this is in the advice position for the best way for you to take your next step. So it's really interesting. Does a breakup need to happen? Does a breakup need to happen in your partnership? Does a breakup need to happen in a relationship? Is there a relationship that had really strong foundational structures, really traditional structure there, that offered the opportunity, the potential for all this emotional fulfillment, but it's making you feel trapped, like you have nothing to celebrate, and it's making you want to break free and be this like single successful person making your own way. I mean, you've got this in your near future, but a choice needs to be made, because the Lovers also speaks to choice. And to me, this card is all about, are you going to use your head or are you going to use your heart? And have you done the work? Are you unified on the inside to allow this to come in? But it's here and it's in the upright. So I don't feel like this is begging a question. I feel like this is saying I'm here and I exist and I'm possible. The next card that we have is the Ten of Swords. I've honestly never gotten this card in this deck, and I've read with this deck a lot. This is in the Outside Influences card. Look, the last battle. Wow, that is freaking cool. I gotta say, guys, the Viking ones are my favorite. That might be because I have a lot of Norwegian heritage, so I'm like really into the Viking stuff, but that's because they're so goddamn badass. Look at this guy. He is done. This Valkyrie, that is definitely a Valkyrie on this horse, has just come and put the last sword in this guy. And there's all these dead people around him. And he's had all this struggle and all this turmoil. This is the culmination. This is the final step. This is the last of the struggles right here in the Outside Influences. This is it. No more. No more fighting. No more swords. No more struggle in the Outside Influences. Interestingly enough, when we move up, because we're moving up the staff here of the Celtic cross spread, when we move up, the hopes and fears position is the Nine of Swords. This is not a pleasant card. This is the card of nightmares. This is the card of staying up at night and worrying. It's hard to see from this glare, and I'm so sorry, but can you see that banshee up there? Like, hell to the no, right? Nobody wants to wake up and see this. And this is in your hopes and fears position. I read hopes and fears very specifically because this spot used to give me the most trouble when I first started doing readings. So the way I read the hopes and fears card is when it's in the upright. Oh God, there's like a succubus in there too. I just saw her right above the woman in white. There's another face. Ugh. So when I used to get really confused in this spot, with this spot, right? This hopes and fears. But how I look at this now, if this is in the upright, then this is the main way your energy is flowing. This is the main way your mind is perceiving the situation, which is terrified. This is going to keep happening. I'm going to keep being stuck in this madness, and it's never going to end. I'm never going to just get to that 10th sword, what I also call rock bottom's basement. I'm never going to get to rock bottom's basement. I just keep falling down the damn stairs. I just keep getting pierced with these swords, right? That's the fear. But because it's hopes and fears, this can't possibly be your hope. Nobody hopes to be trapped in this, right? So when I look at it as this, I see as hope being on the reverse, which is that this energy will be fading out, and it will, because you have this here in your Outside Influences. You have the Ten of Swords. So you've got an ending here, okay? You've got an ending here, and you've got this amazing love on the horizon. Amazing. But something needs to end. A relationship and or a partnership needs to end. Okay? So moving on to the last card in terms of being in your quote-unquote final outcome position. I don't really like the term final outcome because nothing is final. Right, guys? Even death isn't final if you believe in reincarnation. So instead of final outcome, I like to look at this as more of like, and also because we've got a near future spot, right? We've got these lovers in the near future. So I like to look at this as a little bit of extra advice moving forward. Okay? And something that's going to help you unify what's in your head, what you want, right? Because this shouldn't just be about what we think is going on. This should be about what you want and how you're setting your intentions. And if that's what you really want, and if that's what you really need to feel fulfilled, then we'll look at this as the best way to go about it, being the Six of Pentacles. And the Six of Pentacles here, this is all about, again, we've got another monk here who is sitting, and he's basically receiving whatever it is he can get. Monks sit on the street, and they kind of beg, right, for food. And that's how they get their food. So this is about reevaluating how you perceive giving and receiving, because giving begets receiving, and receiving begets giving. So I say this a lot of times because the suit of Pentacles also has to do with money, health, wealth, spirituality is how I look at these cards, the Pentacle suits. And this is a monk here. There's a spirituality aspect here for sure, right? But this also has to do with your relationship to money. How do you get money? How do you receive money? How do you give money? How do you give help? How do you receive help? Okay. And this is the charity card, so to speak. So I think the best advice here would be, what can you do to get to this? To feel like you're bringing in the wealth, to feel like you're bringing in the abundance that you really want in your life. The best way to bring in the abundance is to give. And that might seem backwards. And so many people have this unhealthy attachment to their money, where I think they feel like the only way they're going to make money is to hold on to it really tight, right? That'd be that Four of Pentacles energy. This is mine. I worked for it. You're not taking it. Have you ever seen those bumper stickers? They're usually on the back of a large truck. And they say, like, you're not entitled to what I have, right? That's a very poor attitude, in my opinion. Because first of all, I think it's unfair to assume that everybody's out to just take what you worked really hard for. And second of all, I don't think most people really want to do that. I think people like to work for what they have and earn what they have by putting forth an effort. Most people, sure, there's lazy people out there, but people like to work for what they have because that creates a sense of fulfillment and a sense of accomplishment in us, right? But people have an ass backwards way of looking at money and wealth, where they don't view giving as something that's going to automatically come back to them in the universe. But that's how I look at it, right? To me, that reminds me of the Empress card, the fertility card. I actually started my own business called the Empress Table, which is a business that's all about giving back to the community by way of celebration. I'm really trying to keep myself out of these readings, guys. I shuffled this like really hardcore, so hopefully this is resonating for you. But the whole concept there is, let me reevaluate how I make my money. When I make my money, I give my money back, and I give it back to a charity that supports somebody that needs it more than me, right? And so by way of someone's celebration, by way of someone's love, and a way that they're throwing this great party and they're celebrating life and their loved ones and their own sense of community, we then take that spirit and we give it back to a charity, in order to sort of spread the wealth and spread the love and the abundance back into the universe. And I'm really trying to encourage everybody to do the same thing. So maybe that's why this reading is coming out like this, because I'm really encouraging everybody to reevaluate how you feel about love and what you want in your life and what's going to bring you a deep sense of fulfillment. And so in this new moon, if you're shedding something, maybe what you need to shed is the way that these traditional foundations and structures have been defined for you. And maybe we need to shed whatever our fears are here, our worry and our stress that's keeping us up at night in these nightmares over relationships that aren't serving us, partnerships that aren't serving us. They're not giving back. But instead of focusing what you can take, focus on what you can give away. Okay? And just keep giving the love, because that's going to bring the love back into your life, right? And we talk about abundance and we talk about fertility. And, we have to beckon back to our wine because I'm ready to take another sip. So if Juno is really the goddess here of abundance and fertility and female protection, then maybe we really do need to unite with our feminine side a little bit and our giving side and focus on what is going to make us happy and what is going to give us cause to celebrate, right? So I'm going to take another sip on that note. And then I'm going to pull some oracle clarifiers, okay? So hopefully this resonated with you guys. I think it's pretty clear. I don't think I really need a whole lot of clarification, but I'm going to pull. This is the Messenger Oracle deck. I've been using this a lot for my clarification. So focusing on new moon in Cancer. Talking about the new moon. We're talking about shedding things that no longer serve us, clearing out of the old, making way for the new, right? Nice, clean shifts. We're halfway through the year already. It's crazy. 2017. If you follow numerology at all, if you add up the 2, the 0, the 1, and the 7, we get a 10. So this is a 1 year. So this is all about new beginnings, guys. It took a little while for that energy from 2016 to fade out. Trust me, we all felt it. Do you know how many deaths happened in 2016? Do you remember that? How many famous people died? David Bowie, for freaking Christ's sake. God, I'm still not over that. Right? Alan Rickman. Princess Leia, whose name is completely eluding me right now. It's terrible. And her mother, Shirley MacLaine. So many people. So many people. So new beginning, coming in to new energy, really feeling like we have the potential to make this shift ourselves. But it's all about your frame of mind. And it's all about how you look at fulfillment on a whole. I feel like I've been beating this message like a dead horse in my twin flame readings, right? Reevaluate how you think about health, wealth, and love. Reevaluate what's going to bring you fulfillment. What's going to bring you real fulfillment. Clear out that old fading energy and try to get yourself somewhere new, right? Newness is good. Washing away. Protect the wild and green. This is a very earthy card, right? This actually speaks to Gaia, which is another name for the earth, and protecting everything that is earthy, everything that has to do with earth. I really look at this too as an abundance card. When we're protecting the earth, we're protecting everything about the earth, right? If we want to look at protecting animals or protecting the trees, protecting nature, protecting the oceans, but also I think this harkens to protecting people, right? It has to do with, and because of the green too, sometimes I look at this as being heart chakra, because green is the color of the heart. So I look at this as protecting your heart, not in a defensive manner, but in the name of abundance, in the name of earth and all of the things that bring us all this joy and this celebration, right? I mean, there's like really no more noble cause than to go out there and be a warrior for abundance and for this planet you live on, and trying to spread the good wealth, right? Trying to spread a feeling of celebrating being for everybody, right? Not just for the rich that can afford it. Everybody. I'm going to pull one more message card. This is very interesting. I have observe in silence. I think we need to read the message on this one, because I'm not really sure how that fits in here. But hopefully this is resonating with somebody. And there's a fox on there, so he's being a little bit clever. Now is not the time to be the life of the party, nor to step forward into the role of leader or teacher. Wow, really interesting, guys, because now is not the time to be the life of the party. Look at this guy. He doesn't really look like he's having too much fun, does he? He is certainly not the life of the party, right? He is feeling stuck in his own sense. He does not feel like there is a party. And then, what's it say? This is not time to be the leader or the teacher. Don't be the leader and the teacher. Okay, let's keep going. Be cautious. It may not be wise to draw attention to yourself or to reveal your plans to others at this time. Instead, be silent. Step back. Be still. Watch those around you and be mindful of what you see, hear, and feel. Trust in your instincts and intuition and let them guide your steps. So maybe I shouldn't be doing this reading because we should be operating on the down low here like this little fox buddy. But you know, really, maybe this is saying as you're clearing out this energy and you're making way for the new, maybe this isn't time to really make waves. Maybe this is the time to just really reevaluate how you want to bring this abundance into the universe, how you want to protect your own heart and your own mission and your own vision so you can bring something tangible and good and wonderful back into the world, into your community. I mean, start small. It doesn't have to be like gigantic, profound, shifts in gestures. right? You don't have to go giving hundreds of dollars away to charities or anything like that. I mean, this could just be giving up your time to somebody that needs it. It could be the neighbor next door. It could be, being a big brother or a big sister to somebody in need. It could just be just something little like that. Maybe just finding a way to give a little bit more of yourself in a different way, in a manner that you haven't done before, but not calling attention to it, right? Not calling attention to it. Keeping it to yourself. Keeping it to yourself so you can figure out how to bring in this beautiful love. Again, and redefine what love means to you. So we're not talking about a big public breakup here, okay? This isn't like a Kanye and Kim on the cover of People magazine breakup. We don't need that. We don't need that. We just need a redefinition. Again, a reevaluation, because whatever this pain is on its way out. It's on its way out. But I think that right now, this is something you do have to sit with on the inside and figure out how you can stop struggling, right? How you can stop struggling. And again, I think that's going to have to be about going inward, reevaluating your relationships, reevaluating what this is that's making you feel a little bit stuck. Okay? Not necessarily charging forth with your sword on your horse, but sitting in this, sitting quietly with this and allowing this energy to move out. Allowing it to move out so something better can make its way in for you. Okay, let's do another one. I feel like the messages, the oracle messages are really going to help us with this spread, like tie it all together. So let's do, this is one of my favorite decks ever. This is the Sacred Rebels Guidebook by Elena Fairchild. I feel very much like a sacred rebel. This deck really, really called to me, and it has done nothing but be amazing. In fact, I had the pleasure of doing a reading for one of my baby's nurses. So my baby Orion just turned 5, and he has neuroblastoma, which is a stage 4 cancer. And one of his nurses one night saw this deck sitting on the table. And she asked me if I read, and I said, well, yeah, but these aren't, like, I don't want my tarot. This might not be the best deck to read with. And she was very adamant in a sweet way, like almost desperate, and was like, can you please do a reading? And I was like, okay. And she sat down. Before I know it, she just like sat down right in front of me. And I did a reading for her. And then I was like quickly glad that these cards are so positive and uplifting, because she needed it so bad. She was so sad. And she was really hurting. And these cards are just amazing. And then she went out and actually bought them for herself. And what was really cool about that story is that she talked about how she loved Denver, and she had to move from Denver to help her family and get through her mother's death. And she wanted to go back. And ironically, I had a not a plane ticket. I had a hotel stay, a free hotel stay, because I worked for a hotel at the time. And I just randomly got this free stay in Denver, and I was like, well, maybe I'll visit my friend Becky, one of my very best friends, who's actually a Cancer, and she's amazing, lives in Denver. And so I thought, well, maybe I'll go visit Becky, and I'll use this. But when I heard her talking about how much she wanted to go back, I was like, this isn't for me. This is for her, right? So I gave her that hotel stay, and of course, she was really touched by it, and I didn't do it to make myself feel good, even though it did make me feel good. I did it because I felt like it was the right thing to do. And again, look at the way giving something away can really bring a sense of fulfillment into your life. I think that's a good place to start. Okay, so now we're going to read a clarifier here in this beautiful Sacred Rebels Guidebook. And the card we have is, wow, the Power of Attraction. That is so cool. Guys, I said I was going to read for twin flame skeptics, and this is supposed to be a really general reading, but I cannot help but put all these things together. Power of Attraction, the Lovers, the Two of Cups in the reverse. How do you attract what you want? How do you manifest what you want? Do you believe that this is possible? Do you believe that you are able to put these beautiful vibes out into the world and attract what you want back? Do you believe that you can focus on giving because you know you'll receive, and you have faith that you'll receive and you'll get this feeling of independence and just feeling so strong and in your element? Wow. I truly believe that that is possible. And I'm going to read the message from this book because they are much more eloquent than the things I can put into words. So let's go. Guys, might I add to, again with numerology, I'm sorry, I just noticed this is a 13. This is a 4 card. Okay, and a lot of times the 4 of Wands also speak to twin flames. 4s can be broken down into 2 2s, and 2 2s give you the 1 1 1 1, which is twin flame number. So I might be reaching there, but it just kind of popped into my head. So the power of attraction. There is such wonder awaiting you. There are so many beautiful adventures and so much magic yet to be. Can you keep your heart open to what is coming towards you without surrendering your experience of this moment by becoming too future-oriented? You see, there is magic in this moment too. There is something arising within you out of the depths of your being. In this process, there is a shift in environment, both internal and external. A fertility is being stimulated. Like we were talking about there, which you know, right? This is your time to play with that fertility, to conceive, create, and embark upon the process of transformation with an open heart and mind. You may not know where it is all going to lead. All you need to know is that it will be wonderful and exactly, perfectly what is needed. Beyond that, allow the energy of fertile growth and abundance to now flow so naturally and richly within you and around you, simply to be. You are a big soul, and with that often comes big dreams. You might worry that you want too much out of life. Perhaps you think that you are only capable of small dreams. If you have drawn the oracle of big, bold vision as well, then this part of the message is highlighted for you. This oracle is guiding you to remember that there are stages of creation. A house cannot be built without the flooring. No matter how beautiful the stained glass windows you plan to install are, the walls need to be up. First, your big life dreams are a work in progress, just like you. If you have been working on healing something within you, started a new creative project, or just taken on a new job or relationship and feel that although you are getting some results, you are impatient for more, doubt that you can continue or ever find the zone or become proficient in the situation at hand, then this oracle comes as a reinforcement. You are doing well. That which is worthwhile takes time to build. Celebrate each success, even the small ones. Celebrate each success, right? Even the little things. I lost my place. This oracle comes with a special message. You have recently completed a cycle or level of manifestation and are transitioning into the next level of experience. Like a big fish leaving the small pond and feeling like a rather small fish in a bigger pond, there will be some getting used to it time needed as you find your way. This will add to what you have already done and bring valuable expansion to your realization of your abilities, as well as many new relationships and opportunities to help you go further on your journey. What you are in the process of creating will benefit from this stage of your process. Whether your creation is simply your sacred life path, a particular creative work, or an actual child, there is a positive and constructive energy that is unfolding for you now to boost this process and carry you further along the way. Do you dare to dream and to believe in your dream until it manifests, even if naysayers challenge you? Of course you do. This oracle brings you guidance. You are going to attract whatever is needed to complete your work in progress and bring it into fruition. Remain open to receive and trust in the unfolding of your life experiences. Do not turn away. All of the necessary elements are coming together. Allow this integration to occur so that you can manifest your dreams. Wow. So power of attraction, that's a really big message, guys. A lot going on there. But this is all about being able to conceive something that you really want, right? This is all about knowing that it can be yours, right? Protecting what it is you want, protecting what it is you need, and figuring out what it is you need. Sitting back, right? Sitting back and understanding how you can really bring this manifestation forward. So I don't know if we need any more clarifiers. We'll do one more, okay? We'll do one more. And this one, this is the Vintage Wisdom Oracle. And I've been using this, again, on my twin flame spreads here, and I don't want to muddy the message here, but for anybody looking to really reevaluate your life, really reevaluate the way you love, how you receive love, and how you give love, I think this message is especially poignant here. It's especially poignant, and knowing that you are not going to be stuck in your struggles forever. There's always an end to it, right? There's always an end to it, and the best way to bring about that end is just to clearly set your intentions, decide what you want, and then let the universe bring that to you. Manifest that for you, because that's what you want. As long as it's rooted in love, right? And it's for the betterment on a whole, the big picture, right? Then it can't possibly be bad. There's no reason for it to not manifest in your life. Choice. This came out in another twin flame reading for a divine masculine, that there was a choice to be made, and it came out with the Lover's card. There's a choice. And I do really think that this choice has to do with how you love and how you attract, whoops, that flew out of my hand, how you attract what you want, how you manifest what you want, what's in your heart, what are you protecting, right? How can you give of yourself to receive? Find little ways to celebrate. Know that this is temporary. Guys, we've got, by the way, the 8, the 9, and the 10 of Swords here. This is temporary. It's moving out, right? The nightmares are in your head. They're just your fears, your outside influences. This is the last step in your journey. It's going to end. You do not have to stay stuck here. But I do think it's important, because we got this. These cards are always curveballs. I'm telling you guys. They are curveballs. I wasn't expecting this. There were so many other cards that would have gone so perfectly, but I think we got to go with what we're given. Observe in silence. Sit back. Understand what's going on. Manifest what you want in the universe, but make a choice. There's a choice to be made here. Heart or head. Okay? And, just another little snippet. Maybe there was something in your past that really brought you this great sense of fulfillment, and you want it again. And you miss it. And there's been something that's making you feel like you can't achieve that again. But I think this is saying that you definitely can. So, wow, really intense messages for the new moon, guys. But this is all about, again, let's let this old energy make its way out. Let's clear the way for the new. However you need to make that happen. Water is always good for that. Epsom salt baths, spa day, cleansing, go fishing, go boating, go take a dip in the pool or the lake or the ocean or wherever you're at. And let all of that stuff wash away. Let all of those worries and those fears wash out, because you have the potential here to just really come into something absolutely beautiful. All right? So make good choices. Always err on the side of love. And know that whatever you put out there that's rooted in that love, then you'll get it back. And on that note, I'm going to take another sip of my wine. And I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for joining me. This was really fun. I can't wait to do this again and make these readings sort of a regular part of my regimen. So if you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Like my video, share my video, whatever you want to do, subscribe. In the descriptor, I've also put my email address and my Facebook page and my Instagram page. So if you're interested in a personal reading, you can hit me up there. Again, it's Michelle signing off. Peace, love, and light to you guys. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful evening. Namaste.